Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been golden when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the blockchain.
Now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Refuse not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gon' stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum NFTs. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in shoes. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. I had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the drive with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining us here. And you done so do your jobs to GM in the chat down below. Then have top, smash that like, repost, the bookmark of the day space. We greatly appreciate it. Warms up the algo and does us real solid. Appreciate y'all being here. We're also live over on My Abstract today, as well as YouTube. GM to all of our GMers. Appreciate you all out there. Hope everyone had a great weekend and ready for a big week. It was a good weekend to touch grass or the Nexus, anything but the crypto charts. You would have done better than, I guess unless you were shorting everything into oblivion, then good GG's, good game. And we continue on. A little bit of actually not even baked cookie. I actually, kid you not, I'm kind of jumping right into things. Lack of a cold open sans Steve this morning, but appreciate everyone helping everything get warmed up. Actually, I will warm it up for a little bit. Don't want to get quite into a deeper conversation until we get things warmed up a little bit, so I can stall and cover a few other pointless real life topics that aren't overly related. The charts don't go look, just avoid them today. I see Dort out there. One thing I'll talk about real life cold open nonsense is I've been on a big Fred again kick. I think he's becoming the greatest DJ in the world. May not be close right now. He's going to he's on a trajectory for a DJ trajectory. Maybe, I don't know, might have actually been around a little longer, but I don't think I can liken it to as like Matt Rife in the comedy circuit. Guy is just, I only became aware of Fred again, like, I don't know, I had to go back and check the tapes, maybe 2 months ago, probably more like a month ago, and quickly became a big fan. How he creates music and how he performs as much as what he's performing. But one of his viral songs was, I think maybe not all, a lot of his songs, he takes like a conversation, takes words, and then turns that into a song. One of his first or one of his more popular tracks is one where he had a conversation with a woman during COVID. And anyways, good music, good vibes, and his live performances are insane. It reminds me of, if you've been here from the beginning, you've maybe heard me tell a story about Lollapalooza 2011, the Dead Mouse show at the end of the concert. Shout out to Taylor Garing and Brooke Lacey, two crypto Twitter OGs as well, that were also there in the same crowd with me, along with 200,000 other people during the torrential downpour. I see Outer coming up. If she went to the Fred Again show in Toronto this past weekend, I'm going to lose it. That's where Fred Again played. So let me rewind, and then we'll get Outer in here. One of my favorites, and we don't get her often. But so Fred Again's been having this come up. He's been popular, I guess, for several years. I just found him with his recent album, or his current album. He's in the process of dropping. How he's launching the album is it's 10 songs, or he's one new song every week, and he introduces the track at a live show. So he's doing it's a tour of 10 live shows. The first 5 were all in Europe. The second 5, I believe, are all North America. The number 6 was in Toronto. Number 7 this week is in Chicago. And the energy's off the charts. He brings in like this, I don't know, like a fabric basically that becomes the ceiling, and it's just the lights and the waves, and the energy is insane. You can go pull a clip on Instagram or YouTube, and it'll probably fill your feed for a bit. It's not just me. He's popping off everywhere. And I haven't had this sort of like urge or desire to go see a concert or a show. Man, this is gonna really date myself and sound cheesy, but probably since like I don't even know, actually. It would have been, I really don't know. Cause I'm not like, I enjoy music. I enjoy live music specifically. I enjoy concerts, festivals. But it's not like, oh, I gotta go see this person. This may be the first I've ever had this intense desire to see a tour. Anyways, I digress. He played Toronto Friday, Chicago this week, and my speculation, he's heading south throughout the state. So Toronto, Chicago. Next will probably be, I don't know, maybe Midwest. Maybe he goes West Coast, East Coast. And then my hot take is it's gonna line up perfectly. He's gonna do Miami during Art Basel week, and if so, I'll be there. If he's in Miami Art Basel weekend, I will. I'm not gonna say I would pay any sum of money, because I'm not flush like that, and markets are down. Yeah, Fred Again. So NFT Drew, I'm curious, since Fred Again is the man, been listening for years, how did you find Fred Again? And I'm also like, it's like in my, like, I don't exclusively listen to EDM, but of my genres, it's like, it's up there. And I work out every day, and a lot of my, like, I'm not listening to, I don't know, ballads or some slow, like, I don't know. Like, EDM is like, I've always been a fan since like before it was even known as EDM. And I'm kind of shocked I hadn't come across Fred Again until recently, but it is one of those things. Now that I am aware of him, I see him everywhere. I hear him everywhere. I was like, literally, I was telling someone else about it. I was walking, telling someone, like, I don't randomly got on the topic of Fred Again. Next thing you know, we walk by the Dog Bar in St. Pete, and Fred Again is blaring on their speakers. I'm just like, how is this like someone I really enjoy, really like? My algos are pretty dialed in terms of it serves me up music that I'm into. And yet I didn't find Fred Again until maybe, I mean, it was his current tour, and now I'm obsessed. So Drew, I got to know, how did you find Fred Again? And Outer, make my day and tell me you happened to go randomly went to the Fred Again show in Toronto this past weekend. GM.
Hey, is Drew a speaker up here, or is he on your video? I actually have no idea.
He's not. No, he was just commenting in the chat.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, welcome to Fred Again. I did not see him this past weekend in Toronto. I saw him last year in Toronto.
Get out of here. How am I not
Oh,
surprised
yeah.
that you are ahead of the curve? And
Oh, always early adopter to most things, anyways, including music. But like me and Chamber have been sharing for a long time, and I introduced him to Fred again. Like I was just trying to find in my DMs when, but it was when he released a song called Heavy, which is actually my favorite track of his, and it's not a dance bop. Like Heavy is something he wrote about, like a partner or a friend of his we actually don't know that was in the hospital, and it's like if you haven't seen his NPR live, like that is a must watch because he plays Heavy on there, and his visuals are also so beautiful. But the reason why I wanted to talk about him a little bit is because of his background.
Wait,
because
quick question before you do. I'm curious. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. I might change the title to Fred again. I'm going to do. We'll come back to the Tesla conversation. I'm not even joking, by the way. I'm not going to full port, but I'm probably going to. I don't really trade on margin in TradFi. I'm probably going to do some longs here, but let's come back to that later. I got to pick Outer's brand on Fred again. We'll get Poppy in here in a bit. First of all, when you said NPR, is it the Tiny Desk concert or another?
Yep. Okay. He has done a Tiny Desk concert.
And is that the one you were referencing, or there's another NPR interview I should also watch?
No, it's his live. It's the NPR Tiny Desk concert live show. He does it, yeah, and he, does all his sampling. He sings Heavy. He's got like a cool visual in the background. Yeah, it's just really worth a watch to get to know him on a producer level. So that's a must watch. And then I just recommend the song Heavy. It is a heavy song, but it's like it shows you kind of the essence of him before all of the EDM stuff comes. And then I can talk about the show and kind of what he's done there, but I wanted to first talk about his origin story because I think it's really important to acknowledge this part of it and how I got to know Fred again.
Perfect.
Like
my next question.
Yeah. So,
and I don't know the origin story, so I'd love.
Yeah. I mean, I know a little bit of it. The part that I know that's relevant to me is that he was mentored by an experimental musician named Brian Eno, who is like all about acoustics, is an audiophile, and is absolutely out there and experimenting with music. And Divide and I, we were experimental musicians a long time ago. And what it means to be an experimental musician is just like, kind of like in art where you push boundaries with music. This is really all about pushing boundaries with music. And it's most of the time, it's not even like listenable, but sometimes it is depending. And so when I first heard of Fred again, a couple of years ago, I was very excited because acoustically, he was really, really, really good at putting together compositions that actually were very well crafted, very masterfully crafted for the ears. Like if you had really good headphones on, you were like, wow, this is like beautifully put together. And so aside from his kind of collage style, which I actually think is influenced by an artist named Burial, who came out in 2007 and also did this like collage style of music. Burial's is more distinct in that he uses so many samples, but the nostalgia part is there. And I think how Fred again expanded on that was by adding this like vocal element that people can connect with. And I think so he took what Burial did and kind of remaining in EDM and in that kind of like experimental realm of EDM and pushed it into pop more. And because he pushed it into pop with our ability to relate to him with his vocal collaging and vocal snippets, that allowed us to, I think, be like super appreciative of it, connect with it, and then it became more in that like pop dance, I can actually super relate to this. And so that was really interesting. And the fact that he's, mentored by Brian Eno just means that he's going to put out some of the most amazing, like sonically, it's like if like a really skilled artist in whatever medium has decided to then try different things, but they have like a huge backbone in, it's like somebody who's a really amazing programmer and coder and they make coded art versus somebody who vibe codes something on a weekend with using P5 processing. Like those are not the same. They're both cool outcomes, but like one, you can just really understand that somebody knows something from first principles, if that makes sense. And so I really appreciate the fact that Fred again understands music from first principles, having had that Brian mentor and influencer. influence in his work. So that's that, and then I can shut up. But then I want to talk about the actual concert too, if you want.
Yeah, I love it. Would love to hear about the concert. I also need to apologize, and I feel like the need to disclaimer. I am a man in my 40s. I don't need any more hymns ads served up. I tried to pull up the Fred again Tiny Desk concerts. Or anyone heard the woman talking about her husband and his premature ejaculation issue? My apologies. Just brush it off to the cold open. If anyone who's building a way to opt out of all these ads, I get it. I understand I age into the target demographic. I don't need, it's not a problem at this point in my life. If I ever do have a problem, I have no shame. I would go get the help, but it's not now. And I'd appreciate you not talking over Outer with your ED ads. But yes, please tell me about the concert, Outer.
Wait, you don't have YouTube Premium? No,
I don't. Maybe that is they're doing this. This is an entire psyop. They're going to force me to get. It's between the ED ads on YouTube and my Facebook. And I'm finally getting my Facebook algo back because I'd screenshot some silly pics, shared them in the war room, and I didn't realize at first when you screenshot something on Facebook, it thinks that this person wants to see more of that, and so I was getting served up the most ridiculous like male thongs for like months. And I kept, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. It just, the like ad networks are broken for today's world. I mean, we were talking about like what the robots can do today, but they can't figure out what I actually want to see. Anyways, I digress. I'm sweating over the, I'm just going to share my screen. Like, this is what I'm looking at right now. I was just trying to find Fred again. And this is YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. And my, thoughts and condolences to this lady. I don't know.
Man, I haven't heard a YouTube ad in so long because we have premium that if I ever go on like another, like I was in Toronto this weekend, not for Fred again, but for something else. And we were staying at an Airbnb and I put Rosalia's Berghain on, which is a song everyone should check out because she's like breaking the internet with this. We had to watch an ad and I was so taken aback because it's been so long since I've seen a YouTube ad, but this Airbnb, it had ads. I'm like, wow, this is wild. Okay, Fred again, the concert. I don't remember when this was, but it wasn't the one he just played. This was like last summer, I think. Yeah. Or maybe even before that. It was me and our kid, who's 14 now, and my partner and a couple of our friends. We all went to see Fred again at the Toronto Stadium because he's coming to Toronto and it's awesome and it's Fred again and we had to get the whole experience in. It was the concert that he played for 2 nights after Billie Eilish played for 2 nights. And it was off the hook. He set up the stage because he was like in the middle at first, kind of started out with more like intimate stuff at like a keyboard in the middle, and then he went all the way back to the stage and his visuals were like off the hook too, but really it was just the energy. The only thing that I didn't like was that we couldn't get like general on the floor. We were like in seats and it was really hard to dance. And I love dancing. I'm a raver. So to me, not to be able to dance was super hard. But also like, it didn't make it that unenjoyable. It was still a great vibe. And he played a mix of tracks. He played like some of his old school stuff that like the OG kind of fans would know, and everybody vibed. And then some of his more newer, more popular works as well. So yeah, it was a really, really good show. But the energy was wild, like just amazing energy.
It seems like every show too. Every show I've seen clips of now that I found him, the energy is just off the charts. Like again, the only thing I can personally experience I would put on a similar level was the Deadmau5 show closing out Lollapalooza in 2011. And as he's opening with some chords, and literally the exact second he drops the beat on the first song, the clouds open up and the torrential downpour starts, and 200,000 people just lost their minds, and it was nonstop energy for the next hour and a half. And again, that's outdoor Grant Park, Chicago, a couple 100,000 people. The videos I've seen, it feels like the same energy at these, whether it's a small venue or arena. Like it's really impressive. And I like it's like become it's like the bucket list item of my year. Like I got to catch a Fred again show. And I again kind of shocked. I see it looks like on stage we lost Poppy and Drew. Drew, I would like to get your take in your Fred again backstory. And then Poppy, we are going to if you're a Fred again fan, please join us as well. Or if you got thoughts on this Tesla or anything in general, kind of a free for all for the first 40 minutes this morning. Is not a whole lot of great stuff to talk about the market. Fred again's a lot more exciting than the current crypto market. But
did you get your Tesla?
Oh, yeah.
I've been out of the loop a little bit here for a while, so thanks for having me back. But yeah, I actually don't remember. I know Steve got a Tesla, and then I remember you were thinking about getting one, and I wasn't sure if you actually did.
Yeah,
Did you? And is it good? Are you enjoying it? What'd you get? A 3?
I got a Model Y, and I got
Oh, nice.
about a week ago, last Tuesday, I think I picked it up, and yeah, I love it. It's like I have been a Tesla fan for a while. I have held Tesla shares for I don't know how many years, pre-COVID. Um, I'm trying to put it like without like it's. I know there's like Elon haters that are gonna they're gonna fud the take or clap back at the take. Remove Elon from the conversation. I mean, I don't think you should because he's proven to be one of the great builders of our time. And I know someone like to dispute that and he's done it with this or that. It's like the results speak for themselves. It's not just Tesla that he's built. It's extremely impressive. He's arguably the best CEO as far as results of our generation. I can't remember someone that leading multiple. I don't know how to describe it. Multiple world changing to disruptive. We'll say multiple disruptive startup brands since Steve Jobs did with Apple and Pixar. Like there's something to be said for like just work and just absolute psychopath that sometimes these CEOs at that level are. But there's also something to be said for just the visionaries that they are and seeing the future. And sometimes the future doesn't come as fast as you like. Sometimes it comes faster. I have driven Teslas before. If I'm traveling, I'll rent one. I'll use Toro. Many friends have them. So I've been a fan for a while. Deep down, I'm a tech nerd. I grew up in consumer electronics and I stayed in the cell phone business because the tech was advancing so rapidly. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing with the stuff. I enjoyed then sharing, the new features and benefits with our customers and then ship to repairing those things. And I just have always been close to, I'll say bleeding edge tech. I know some might dispute that in cell phones, but if you were around in 2008 and you came into one of my stores and I was beating the smartphone drum, which is a BlackBerry Storm at the time in Verizon, and like 3% of Verizon customers had a smartphone, you probably would have thought I was crazy. But I set a goal in my organization that we would have a 70% smartphone take rate within the year. Every other franchisee thought I was nuts. Some of the employees thought I was nuts. And long story short, we did it. And that one thing led to a lot of my growth and success in the Verizon world. Poppy, you maybe take a lap. It keeps knocking you off the stage. Maybe leave, come back. I'd love to get you up, get your thoughts on this. So a couple things. When I think about Tesla, the car, after almost a week, maybe I'll do a thread on this after a full week of my actual thoughts. Like I'm at 10 out of 10 NPS. And I think you'd be hard pressed unless it's someone that is like hates Elon the man or has Elon derangement syndrome. I think you would be hard pressed to find someone that owns a Tesla that's a detractor, that gives it a 1 out. Here's the thing. It's affordable. Like, I'm not saying it's not like, this isn't like, oh, look at me. Is
your steering wheel a full circle or is it more of that like pilot
full circle,
steering wheel?
Full circle.
Okay.
But
yeah,
so,
I don't know, man.
pilot?
I remember we test drove a bunch of them, and I actually I don't mind Teslas, but I like I love driving, and I didn't feel like I actually like driving. I don't like it driving for me necessarily because I enjoy driving. Like I would get a manual car if they didn't now charge more for those. And if it wasn't like if everybody knew how to drive it, right, I still want to be able to have a friend drive my car if I need to. And most people don't drive manual anymore. But to me, it's like I'm into Tesla when it's an app and I push a button and it comes and picks me up and drops me off, and I don't own it,
Mhm.
but like I just get in it. I love the idea of that. I think it's a beautiful self-driving car. But at least the ones that I tried, they had these like weird steering wheels, and I couldn't do like a full circle turn. I couldn't slide my hand around the steering wheel. That wasn't a vibe for me. And just the way that it drove, it wasn't quite like, it wasn't the experience that I enjoyed out of it. But I've been onto Tesla since the very beginning with Model X's, and like, remember in 2017, my friend had one. We drove it around, and the novelty was like super awesome. So I'm not like, I'm just kind of lukewarm on them in that kind of way. But I wanted to mention that Divide, who is also into Tesla stock and has been for also a very long time, he played some of the recent, I guess like there was some kind of a meeting where Elon was talking to the shareholders. And it reminded me, as I was listening in passing, that like, I wish he was more charismatic as a speaker. I keep forgetting that he's not a really good public speaker. And I keep forgetting that. Like, there's something about it that just, I don't know. It's bizarre to me, that I kind of almost want to read things that he said as opposed to like listen to him saying it. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way, but I like when Steve Jobs would deliver his talks, I like I'd get the popcorn. Like I was that excited. He had this like, he had this eloquence about him that made me want to listen. I find that, and I don't know if this is just like a mad scientist type of vibe where you're so much in your head about all the cool ideas and all the things that you have a hard time eloquently getting them out, or getting like doing the right pauses where people engage. But I find that's like, and I'm not actually asking, I don't care if he would like get some kind of coaching or anything, like be yourself, it's all good. But for me, I can't listen in an engaging way to stuff he drops. So I have to consume the information like later, whether like, Divide tells me or I read about it or whatever. I find it super interesting that I kind of feel that I like, I'm not excited to watch a presentation of his. I'm excited to like post that, consume the information. But yeah, I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Like maybe I'm the only weird one, but I don't have any like strong negative opinions about Elon. I do think I agree with you in the whole idea of Steve Jobs. My interaction was actually with some of the people that he employs. I was in Cupertino, I want to say in 2019, just before the pandemic. I had to give a talk in Berkeley, and I had Divide with me, and I wanted to show him like all my favorite San Francisco places. And I have a lot of friends that live in like all the different community houses. And Divide and I actually ended up giving a talk at a place called the Rainbow Mansion. And in the Rainbow Mansion is a community house full of like tech nerds. Mostly it's NASA, Google, and Tesla folks. And that was really cool to meet a bunch of Tesla engineers and kind of just like see what kind of folks are working there and what they're interested in building and how they see themselves in a company like that. So yeah, I was definitely bullish on, in fact, all three of those companies, from just chatting with some of the people that are working there. Like one guy from Google was literally building a hummingbird automatic feeder, just like as a fun project in the garage, but like a fully like automated. He had like gallons of sugar water, and he was like, he had drawings. Like, if you work as an engineer for Google, your side hustle hobby, I guess, is like making, amazing robotics in your garage just for fun. Like that's the kind of these are the kind of folks that, like, I don't know who else is making automatic bird feeders in their garage, but if you are, please DM me, because that was really cool. To like, my hobbies paled in comparison to that, like, wow.
I love it. Thanks. You don't have to stick around too. I know you just jumped up impromptu this morning. I tossed you the coast. Do you see Joey or anyone else requesting up? He tagged me, said I don't see anyone requesting up.
No, I don't see any requests. It's getting rugged a bit.
Yeah, it's definitely ruggish this morning. And I went even like to go get my notifications. It said no notification. So X is doing its thing again. Shout out to everyone who's found us and still here. We appreciate it. Remember Machiavelli's requesting up. Keep firing. It's like 50-50. Joey, I'm not ignoring you. Poppy, I do see you out there again as listener. I don't know. I can't, unless it's actually, you know what? I could do this. Let me, I'm going to I invited Drew back.
Let me up before Joey.
I'll invite Poppy. No, if you got busy and can't speak, no obligation. I'm just trying another way to get you up here. I'll send you the invite. Joey, I don't even see you in the audience. Do you see?
Yeah, No, I don't. I was just looking.
Yeah, Joey, maybe take a full, like, do the force close. So two things. One, I think Joey's going to come up to give us a to challenge our assessment that Fred again is on his way, if not already, becoming one of the top DJs in the world. But two things on the Elon front. One, I think your read on him as a speaker is probably spot on. Do you think it's the pauses? Like, I think the way his brain works, like, he'll get asked a question and he'll like pause for sometimes what seems like an insanely long time before answering.
Maybe you nailed it. Like, there's just something off about it in a way that that my brain is like, oh my fucking god, I can't. Like, I I don't know. I don't know what it is. But it's also not the kind of speaker where I could like fall asleep to it either, like a boring lecture when you're, up too early in school and you're listening to a prof speak. Like, whatever it is, I can't digest the information in the way that he's presenting it. Like, I just can't. And it's not even like it's not what he's saying, it's the delivery. I can't do the delivery. It's not for me. And like, and I'm excited usually to like, I'm excited for the Apple talks and all of that stuff, but for some reason, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just not a vibe for me. But maybe it's the pauses. Maybe you're right, because he does have like a cadence to the way that he delivers his presentations.
Yes.
But I can't connect with it.
Definitely.
Like, I find it difficult to listen to.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't disagree. Certainly, if you compare him to Jobs, Jobs was maybe the GOAT at least at product launches and demos. But here's the thing. The car's insane. Like,
what do you love about it? Like, what like top 3 things that you love about your car? Never, like, don't even make it about Tesla. Like, you have your car, top 3 things you love about your car.
So yes, I'll answer that. Before I do, I just want to let you know that the non-circular steering wheel, specifically the controversial yoke style, which resembles a race car steering wheel without the top and bottom, initially for the Model X and S's, it's now an optional extra. So they basically discontinued it as a standard option on those. I guess if you want it, you can add it to the S and X, but they heard your feedback and they went to the circular steering wheel. So,
oh my god, amazing! That was terrible. That was like, do you know what I'm talking about? If you're sitting and you're going to turn and you have your hand on, like, kind of like, the 2 o'clock or whatever on the wheel, if you're turning left, and then you put your hand in and you force slide it all the way around, right? Like, I'm sure if you're a driver and you're into this, everyone can like do this motion as they're sitting in their house. Like, you just lean into it with one hand and you make this like beautiful, glorious turn. Like, I love doing that. I live for that. I live for the turns, especially if you're going like turning right too, and you go over with your arm. Like, I couldn't do that. And I'm like, I love driving and I want to do that. And I can't do that with that yoke steering wheel. So I was out because it was not an option.
So top 3 things I enjoy about it, without sounding cheesy. It's the safest car I've ever driven, probably by magnitude. It's the funnest / fastest car I've ever driven. And the over-the-air updates, it's a really cool piece of tech that gets better and better each and every day, that also happens to be a car. I had, like, so I do enjoy like the full self-driving. It's really cool. I can click a button and it just takes me where I need to go. Here's when I say it's the safest, not only is it safe from how the car's built, manufactured, and all the safety sensors, all the warnings. Like, I didn't realize this prior to drive. Like, I'd driven Tesla before. I'd never driven one in full self-driving. With full self-driving, I don't know as if I've ever been that safe on the road. Not only because the robot is safe and can think at 1,000x the rate a human can process information. It might be 100x, might be 10,000x. I really don't know. All I know is the computers are far much faster at processing information around it than us humans. The driving's like in slow motion to them because it processes so fast. So not only is it safer there, at first it like annoyed me. It's very sensitive if you take your eyes off the road. Like if I even just I get a notification, I pick up my phone, it's like keep attention to the road. And if you get, I don't know if it's like maybe 3 of those warnings during a trip, it will disable full self-driving. And then if you get, I think 5 strikes of those, like where it shuts off full self-driving during a trip, you lose it. So it's like, well, shit, I don't want to lose full self-driving. So not only is it driving the car for me, it's prohibiting me from being a distracted driver. You don't have to hold the wheel, but you have to keep your eyes on the road. You got to. So you mentioned in passing, I know you didn't mean like this, but you said like you felt like a pilot. That's exactly what you are. Like I don't know as if I heard one of my friends, Nick, he's been a Tesla bull for years, both in terms of owning some vehicles and a couple houses worth of stock. He gave me this analogy that's like, pilots, they're 90% of their job is done by a robot, done by AI, and they got to be there for takeoff and landing. Kind of same thing in Tesla on full self-driving is you help it get started, you might have to help it park, and during the trip you're the pilot, so you can't just like take a nap and stop paying attention. You're there to basically, it's the robot that processes insanely faster than a human, and you combine that with a non-distracted human driver. I am not for big government or big government overreach or big brother getting in our lives. When it comes to driving's insanely unsafe today, way more so than it should be. And I can't fathom a future where it's not immensely safer because of this disruption that Tesla is having. It's not just going to be because Tesla. I think all vehicles are, if they're not full self-driving, I had the conscious thought of like, man, it'd be a lot safer on the road. I wish every other driver had a camera up there in the dash that as soon as they started texting on their phone and stopped paying attention to the road, it gave some warning and said, hey, next time you do that, you're getting a $150 ticket. And you get 3 of them in a month, we're suspending your license. Guess what would happen if that was, again, it's crazy I'm saying this out loud, because this is not like the type of government overreach or big brother I want to have in my life. Sounds kind of dystopian. At the same time, it'd make our roads a hell of a lot safer. I never had that thought until experiencing the full self-driving in a Tesla and realize. And the other thing you realize when you're piloting a Tesla that's in full self-driving is how fucking awful most drivers are, how ridiculously distracted most other drivers are. It's like, I knew this before, but it's blatantly obvious when you just become more. It's like, just like Fred again. I'm sure I'd heard Fred again before. It never clicked until I became aware. Now I'm hearing him everywhere. Same thing with the full self-driving is most drivers are really bad drivers, not because they're not capable, because they're distracted and they're addicted to their phones. And I don't know if that's my favorite thing. I think safety is definitely one of them, especially as, I've got a teenage driver, and I thought about getting her a Tesla. I ended up, she has a Mazda that was, it's also safely rated. It's one of the safest, mid-size SUVs on the road. And
is it the CX-5?
Yeah. And it's fine, but in hindsight, like I just couldn't justify. I thought about it, I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I should get her a new one. It was just like, it's too much in my opinion, for a 16-year-old's first car. But I had to, like, when she was probably like, I don't know, 5 or 6, I was like, yeah, hopefully by the time she's 16, she'll never have to drive because we'll have robots driving her everywhere. We're there. Like, it's better than I thought. And then so here's what that experience driving it, where it increased my bullishness on Tesla, the stock, is I'm convinced the robot takeover is happening. I'm convinced like Optimus and robots, not just for our homes, not just for medicine and surgery, not just for manufacturing lines. Today, it's the worst it's ever going to be in the future. It's getting better so rapidly. And are there going to be other competitors? Yes. I'm not even like, I had this thought this morning, thought about, this would be some cool open material. And then, kid you not, Modern Market guys are talking about Tesla and robotics and Optimus at 7. I'm like, yeah, this is my sign. Like those guys are pretty sharp market sentiments, and I'm sure they have biases, but I don't think any of them are like Elon fanboys or anything necessarily to where they're just they've been drinking Kool-Aid or anything. I think they just see the opportunity in the market, and I do think why I'm so insanely long Tesla stock is not just the cars. I think the cars are one thing. I think the TAM on robots is significantly larger, and I just don't know the timeline. Maybe it's 5 years before it's really mainstream and affordable for consumers. Maybe it's 10 years. At some point, though, I think these things are going to become they're going to be everywhere, and price will come down. And I just think they have such a lead on others in that space in terms of their learning, the training that they have. And it's, again, when they're driving millions of miles a day already, like they're just continuing. Like, I don't see how someone can catch up with them with the data they already have, and it's going to seemingly continue to grow. And you take this, what they've done, I guess for me, I know it's different. The robot's going to have thumbs. I would think, my brain says it's going to be easier to train a robot to do household chores than it is to drive on the road with other humans who are distracted driving 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. You think that's a fair take, Outer?
Look, I'm really here for all of the robot things. I already like having a Roomba, which is a robot that vacuums for you. Imagine, that scaling up in the house. I think that'd be pretty great. Like there's one thing where you pilot your car, as you mentioned, but I'm here for like piloting the whole house, where you you come in and your dinner's ready for you or whatever it is. Like, yes, please, absolutely. Because it just leaves more room to not do those kind of mundane things, but doesn't take away from your enjoyment of it. Yep. If you love cooking, go ahead and do your cook thing. If you can't stand cooking, then now you never have to, right? And I mean, that's not the same as having Uber Eats. If you put something in and you program it and you get your food made for you, but fantastic. I'm only saying this as someone who, every time I get asked, like, if you could have one superpower, what would it be? Literally for me is like not having to eat or sleep. That would be my superpower things. I don't need to fly. I just like think of how much more life I would have if I never had to eat or sleep. It would just be like, yeah, I'm here for that. So I also wanted to tangentially, since we're talking about Elon a little bit, mention Starlink, which, like, living in Canada with having a ton of rural areas, cottage country, whatever, where there is no Wi-Fi and there is no service, and we live in a world where that's kind of ridiculous. Like if I want to still do some work but also disappear into the woods and be connected, like I am so bullish on Starlink. It's like, it's such a gift for any kind of like remote area or in country living to be completely fully online. That I don't know if you know anything about Starlink or are into that, but I think it's just absolutely incredible. And he was also releasing, wasn't it like a solar powered roof tile?
Yep.
When is that coming out? Is that already out? Because I'm bullish on that too.
You're talking for the homes?
Yeah, like the solar. Yeah,
it's out today in the wild, but it's only in select markets. And same thing. Like that makes sense. Like there's a world where every roof is that in the future. It's still so early too, and new tech is hard. And we talk about critical mass, and it takes years, sometimes decades, for things to really pop off and hit mainstream adoption. But this stuff is just so much better than. It really, to me, this is like the difference between like black and white and color TV. Maybe it's the jump from black and white to full HD TV. And oh, by the way, while the robot, the full self-driving is fun, I also forgot, I'm on a recorded space, so I should probably be careful, but I also forgot how I enjoy driving fast. And I've been, last couple of years, I had a Jeep that was just I rarely drove. So it was my daily grinder, just take me to the gym and back. And I've forgotten that I enjoy driving fast. There's a reason I got some speeding tickets in my younger life. And
I'm the same. It's so funny you mentioned that. I also was like, should I talk about this? Like, even, I mean, any electric vehicle at this point. Like, if you're, I mean, I joke around about this all the time. So Divide drives an Ionic, and which is also a pretty good EV, and because there's like windsurf boards and all kinds of things going in and out of this car, it just made a lot of sense to get in an EV SUV. And it's a good one. Obviously, it's not a Tesla, but it also has that like super fast acceleration, and it just makes me laugh every single time that like somebody pulls up next to me in some kind of like racish car, and even in the Ionic, like it's just laughable at how fast I accelerate and just smoke them. Like it's just so funny. Like it doesn't even have to necessarily be a Tesla. Like that EV acceleration is just like unmatched. Absolutely hilarious. Like, and it makes me extra laugh because I'm just in an SUV. Like this isn't this is, like like your grandpa in a Tesla will take over anyone who's like trying to come up in whatever car that's not an EV. I don't know if you have those experiences, but they make me laugh wholeheartedly.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just so funny.
Oh yeah. Also, Diablito, I see just questioning, or rather, the statement is doesn't see. I'm going to read it so I don't misquote it. There's no way self-driving vehicles are going to be safer than people. I like to drive, but most people are awful at it, and accidents are waiting to happen. Oh, he was agreeing with me. Sorry. Yeah, no way self-driving vehicles aren't going to be safer. Yeah, I misread your quote. So I thought he was saying that there's no way full self-driving are going to be safer. He was saying that there's no way humans are going to be safer. And yeah, per ChatGPT, it's that per their data, there's one collision every 6.36 million miles driven with autopilot engaged. This is from Q3 2023 compared to manual driving of Teslas without full self-driving. They report one crash every 1.5 million miles. So about 6 times, not quite 6 times safer with full self-driving engaged. And yeah, I don't have Tesla insurance, but that's also another thing that if you do, it's going to, their telemetry is going to track you. I don't, but I have Root, and Root does the same thing with my Root app. So I sometimes it's worth the added cost just to cut loose. I don't do it sparingly, drive safe, and only in open roads. But
Do you think that okay, total like sci-fi take, but I feel like one of the reasons why we don't have flying cars is because they first need to be pretty much fully self-driving before it makes sense for them to go into like 3 dimensions. Because I just can't imagine people flying cars like with a density in a city.
Yep.
But I can't imagine them being like autopiloted like a plane is, but on that like dense, lots of cars in the air scale, because it would be very gridded and very like planned so that it would avoid like mid-air collisions. I feel like the self-driving car is the gateway to the like self-flying car.
I agree. No, I think great take. And I think not only I think probably prerequisite. I think that's going to have to continue to evolve and become even more mainstream. And then yeah, I could see the path to like flying cars at scale becoming real, but it can't be. We're just not good enough as humans. As some are, sure, but not the masses, not the average human being. Like the average human is not smart, probably not a good driver. And then you think about half the people are below average, it gets a little scary. By the way, anyone listening here, you're far above average, so don't take any offense to that. If you're here, you're not in the average realm. But yeah, it was kind of a few aha moments. I was like, wow, this is I had high expectations coming into it, having known several. Actually, I think everyone that I know that owns a Tesla or has owned a Tesla just loves it. They rave about it. I had expectations from my personal experiences, and it has very much so exceeded my expectations in the first week. And it gets me just more and more convinced that this robot revolution is coming. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. And I think there is a good to very good chance that Tesla is a leader, if not the leader, in humanoid robots. Maybe not, but they're the leader in full self-driving cars today. And the leap doesn't, I don't know. It seems my brain thinks it would be easier to do household chores than it would be to drive a car at scale. There's just, once you perfect the home, it's like, okay, you're there. Driving, you're like, they're still capturing new information. They're still getting, new road the first time they've driven. Like, it's just, there's so much more information, so many more variables outside the home. I would think that the humanoid robot in the home is going to be much easier to, once they get to the baseline. I don't know. Machiavelli, thoughts on this? Am I crazy for wanting to full port into Tesla and the humanoid robot explosion?
I'm right into it with you, Cap. I'm actually moving over funds right now.
You didn't sell a coda to Gregor Tesla.
No, I would never sell a coda. Come on, man. Listen, I really don't pay attention to the whole Elon situation. Like, there's so many fanatics out there, and then there's so much hate, and like, I think that there is like this precipice that they've crossed, and like, we're going into this new world where there is going to be a lot more of AI, a lot more robotics and stuff like that. But I don't think that we're anywhere close to taking the human element out of anything. You know what I mean? And like, people want to deal with a person. You know what I'm saying? And that's a tale as old as time. And who knows how long that lasts going forward. But I do love the Teslas. I've rented one. I've driven one. My son has been begging me to buy the Tesla truck. I just don't like car payments, and I don't know if I want to spend that much cash on a vehicle, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I am. I hear you. Largely why I put off mine for so long, and then I became grateful that I moved a little bit out. That was at a higher number than it would be today after the market crash. But
question: so did you go all in, or did you do a lease? Like, how did you do this, if you don't mind me asking?
I bought it. I financed some just because the rates were low, and lower than what I can earn on any stablecoin farm. So I
got you.
I didn't pay off the whole thing, but I did buy it, and I took some financing because the rates were just good. That said, Fred again, Tesla. We do have a special guest joining us at 9. We will talk all things Web3 and crypto. Before I jump into that, though, Outer, was there anything outside of Fred again and Teslas that caught your attention or was on your mind this weekend or coming up this week as it relates to crypto Web3 things?
The one thing that I found interesting from last week was that there was a resurgence of well, this is tangential too, because it's not the exact same founders, but and I think it slightly relates to Elon, if we're going to stay on topic, because Elon got Twitter, and if you know that Twitter bought Vine. Do you guys remember Vine, the 6-second video, kind of almost like the precursor to TikTok in that kind of format?
That's coin that really boomed this last meme season whenever all the company coins were coming out.
Yeah, so Vine was this 2015 video platform where you could upload only 6 seconds of a video on a loop, and they were bought by Twitter, I believe, in 2017, and then just sunset. Everyone had to download their content, and that was the end of it. Well, last week I saw that there's a company now, an app called Divine, and it's powered. It's backed by Nostr, and it's the exact same format, and then the archivists of Vine videos are bringing back some of the old content. So, and it's not the same founders, but I think one of the people involved is the person who like one of the founders of Twitter who left. His name escapes me right now. It's like Jack. What's the ex Twitter's?
Jack.
Yes, that's it, Jack. I think he's behind it. So anyway, I have my eye on Divine. The only way to get in now is if you had a Noster account. It's a little bit closed for now, but I of course love early adoption things. So I have a crazy, I usually have an account set up with pretty much anything that comes out just to just to test it or whatever. So I'm watching that as I'm curious to see where this goes, because I feel like, I don't know if this is one of those like Elo moments where everyone was sick of Facebook privacy things and Elo came out and everybody went there, but they weren't ready, so everyone forgot. And this is interesting because I think there's a bit of appetite for a simplistic TikTok, because now TikTok is just like, boomers selling you jewelry and whatever else. Like, it's just inundated with so much, and the content is just growing to more longer form content on TikTok, and the 6-second simplicity is almost that like 150 character simplicity of Twitter. So I'm interested to see where Divine goes. So I'm keeping my eye on that.
Is it DEVINE?
Yep. Yeah. If you just look up Divine and then look up like video app or something in the Google, it'll probably get you the link. Or maybe Nostr as well. NOSTR.
Interesting. The first return is Vine app rebooted as Divine, but you're saying
exactly.
Interesting. I also coincidentally I saw some. So Jack Dorsey is behind funding it. DIVEINE. I saw some research paper on this weekend actually talking about it. They didn't call it TikTok. They used another name. I'm guessing like another. Maybe it's the TikTok that's actually in China. I don't know, but it was basically the short form video and how it's like when it does like the science, how it's crushing dopamine and just how it's just not healthy. I guess related, but I'm trying to look a little bit. I'll dive in. I'll play around. I'll do more Divine research. Maybe that's where I go instead of TikTok. I've held off on the TikTok journey. I have an account, but I've never done anything with it. My friends will send me, TikTok every once in a while, and I just refuse to download the app, mainly because I don't want another social habit. But interesting. Thanks for sharing. Mac Belly, anything else? Let me ask you this. I'm going to go grab a coffee before we get our guests on here. Tell us, how did other games this weekend go? And then anything else on your mind?
Yo, man, it was phenomenal. We had a great 5-day rollout of events. Over 10,000 people came into the Nexus the first day. And I can't give you the numbers for the rest, but I know that it was just constantly active. We had a lot of participation. We had a great runway show showing off some of the avatars and letting the founders speak this Sunday. Other games, man, I had 270 people twerking in a bubble to bubble butt. I mean, proof of twerk was on the timeline. It was just a lot of fun, a lot of socializing, getting to see a bunch of new people and just, having them experience what the other side in other games really is. And so we're really grateful to have been part of that rollout, and we're excited for the weeks to come. And I think you're going to see a lot of surprises and a lot of things kick off here in the next few months. And this is a beautiful thing. It's forever evolving and, growing every day, and, new creators. I think I saw Snoop Dogg in there this morning. Or Snoop Doggy Dogg is the name. Was it him? I don't know. Could have been,
What's the TLDR on it? I've been a bit out of the loop just due to
so the TLDR is that Yuga delivered on their promise of creating a persistent metaverse on crypto rails where you can send in, where you pretty much can create an in-game economy.
So I want to know if I could see my, because I remember, I worked there during this time and I recall some of the future, but what I want to know specifically is, can I see my other side deed? Is the stuff that you hold matter in this other side?
Yes. In this current iteration, you can go see what your biome is going to look like. Your deed is actually going to open up for ODK here very soon. I would say in the next 90 to 120 days. And then by the end of next year, we'll be rolling out into a resource game with that deed. And then you'll be able to create experiences and have them persistent in your world. Kind of just like the adult Roblox. You know what I mean? And So this is the birth of all of that, and it's off to a great start, if you ask me. And we had we had some technical difficulties this weekend. We might have went down once or twice, but we had such a great stick rate. You know what I mean? Like from having 270 people in a bubble to 15 minutes later being back in world and still having 259 people, like that's like a 97% stick rate. And then the same thing happened on Sunday. We had a little mishap, and all of a sudden we had the exact amount of people we had in the bubble come right back into the world, into the situation. So like the community's active, the people are showing up, and they're loving the experiences, you know.
So if you have other side deeds, then you could see them. And then if you have codas and kodamaras and
You
apes
running
and
around as your
mutants,
Kodas. Kodamaras, no. Kodamaras, no.
that's what I was going to ask, because there was
Yeah.
Maras and kodamaras from like the whole
the
Legends of the
Maras and
Mara.
Kodamaras, yeah, I don't really know about all that stuff.
Okay, so it's just
yeah,
codas and
It
apes and
still belongs
mutants.
to Faraway as well. They sold that
Yeah.
to Faraway, and I believe it still belongs to Faraway. Heavy
Okay.
Metals will be making their debut soon. That's now headed by Gabe and Adam Weissman, and they're building an arena on an other deed, Chaos, which is what the Nexus is built on. If anybody doesn't know, the Nexus is built actually on a Chaos deed. And so like you have experiences like that on the way. But right now, you know, you have your apes, your mutants, and about 50 other ape chain and Ethereum projects across the board, as well as a few Solana and like Captain BNB and other projects and stuff like that going to be making their entry. Of course, everything has to have a token associated on ApeChain. That's how you kind of get into the other side. But like, they really opened up the avatar system. Like, they're just kind of like building towards this next generation of, you know, social, all platform and gaming, and like just being a creator, because essentially you're going to be able to provide all the experiences you do in Web 2. You're going to be able to provide them in the metaverse, Web 3, on Rails, and be in charge of it all. Not have to worry about a third party or Yuga being in your pocket the whole time or anything like that. Like, it's pretty amazing. Like, I sold a Arbonite on there for 1 ape, and I got to keep 0.99 of the ape.
It's pretty sweet. I also saw we had our first other side mint this weekend. I missed the mint. I did pick one up on secondary. It's kind of gives like shapes vibes from
Yo, that's an ever evolving NFT. The metadata changes, and its NFT evolves as it's transferred in between individuals.
Pretty cool.
Wait, Yuga minted more other side deeds?
No. An other side user, another side, like a third party minted an NFT collection in the other side. So instead
okay, got it. Because remember they promised us the like other side or whatever way back.
I think
I was like, wait, did they release those?
I think they've officially said that's not happening. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they said that is not happening. There's not going to be any more deeds. It's just going to be the initial ones. But yeah, if you're watching video, these voids minted, a small collection, 128 of them. Floor shut up to 349 ape, and again, I picked one up just to. I actually have an offer out. That 69 ape offer, I think, is mine. Because if other side is even a fraction of what their vision to become is, I think the first mint in there could be a cool one. And just the fact that you can do this, mints, you can pick up assets that you own. You pick it up in experience, in world, and it's in your crypto wallet without you having to do any walleting, any crypto stuff that used to be friction. It's insanely impressive. Like, it really is. Like, it's still going to take a lot for them to escape our niche corner of the internet, but it really is pretty cool to see this stuff happening. And they're also putting up some impressive numbers as well as far as on-chain activity. Let me go see if I can find the tweet, because I'm pretty sure they've kind of leaped all other EVM L2s. If anyone's,
it's a bad day to be a Yuga hater, and Cap. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a bad month. It's going to be a bad future to be.
Does anybody hate anything anymore? I feel like it's
yeah.
just not that deep at this point, but maybe it is. I don't know. I've been a bit out of the loop. I've been doing some health issue things. So, but yeah, I think like I'm excited. I'm glad I talked to both of you. Got a dust off ape and the other side deeds, and
let's go.
And
listen, find me, and I would love to give you a tour, show you around, let you all the experiences.
Oh my God, that'd be fun. Okay, maybe I'll DM you and see if you're
Yes.
around and I can pop
do
in
that.
there and we can walk around. That'd be awesome. Sweet. Thanks.
Yeah, Outer, I think for knowing you and you were like the first I knew that was like actually doing things in these metaverses, whether it's Sandbox or Decentraland, and having birthday parties and actually events in there. I would be actually genuinely curious, like spend some time back of LA on the other side, do the tour, and then I'd love to get your feedback on your real unfiltered thoughts, because I don't think it's a stretch to say you might have more like real experience in these worlds through since they've been a thing than maybe anyone else in the space, and the fact that you worked there for a bit, you worked on Legends of Tomorrow. And in last thought, before I get too far away from the code of Mara's, I saw, I think it was Dobbins had a post. I was shocked to see. I had no idea. Like these things are holding like decent floor prices. I didn't know that was a thing, but they're not nothing. And I just there's so much happening right now. The screen I got pulled up is 2 million wallets and 100 million transactions, with daily TPS outpacing every other EVM. Pretty impressive, especially when you factor in ApeCoin has already had TGE. There's no farming. Are there people accumulating XP and playing in the game to get digital assets and grow up their XP? Yes, but it's so much closer to leveling up a World of Warcraft character than it is farming Blast. Like, it's just, there's things there. They're driving attention. Right now, it's maybe a few hundred daily active users, but they're doing the thing. And again, I think it's one of those things that if you're a Yuga bull, a Yuga hater, this is the time to at least be paying attention and get in there, experience it for yourself, and play around. You never know. You might be something that clicks with you. And I think we all, if you're here, if you're an NFT bull, if you're a fan of this space, you're a fan of on-chain crypto native, I think it would be silly not to be rooting for other side, in my opinion. And I'm excited to see what's next. And I do need to, just candidly, I need to spend some more time in there, because I just had a busy weekend. And I should have talked about burying lead for a cold open, and then we'll get Bandor, our special guest, here on in a minute. So yes, I have some excuses for being a little distracted from crypto and Web3 over the weekend. Bought a car last week, attempting to sell a car, and did go in contract on a home officially over the weekend. So I bought a car, buying a house, and it's also a large project. Doing all the things off chain, as I said before. Now I'm not going to start applying to McDonald's, but I do need a real source of income so I can build up back my my perp trading bucket, because it is not where I'd like it to be.
Time for that OnlyFans, Cap. You're cut now. You're ready for it. You're primed.
OnlyFans not quite my journey, but yeah, I want to be trading all the things. I do want a full port to Tesla stock, but I need more disposable income, because the house is going to require, it's going to be a money pit before it brings back returns. Bandor, appreciate you joining us. We are going to come to you in a second. I saw Jonah flew up here. Before we segue, Jonah, any questions, comments, quick takes on other side, Tesla or Fred again?
I just put in an application to McDonald's, but I heard the acceptance rate is really low now, since there's a huge surge of other people who want to work at McDonald's.
Yeah, I have a draft. I'm just going to pull up my draft. You guys can tell me if I should fire it off or not. I can't pull it up. It's a draft on my phone. That's the other thing. Maybe it's just me. I probably should spend some more time in the X chat. But they basically did the
My resume is I flip perps at a 5x leverage. I buy NFTs. I ran a hedge fund, aka I ran up my own account on Yeet Casino. Sir, this is a McDonald's. Can you flip a burger?
Yeah, not doing.
Congrats on the house, though. That sounds really
you.
exciting. I didn't know this. Divide and I also got a house. It's a 1960s Don Draper project.
Wait. Do you have a couch that's in the floor, or a living room that's in the floor?
Right now, the house is absolutely empty. It's a gut, like it's a project. It's really fun, but it
I
will
always thought
have.
those were cool though. The living room
Oh yes,
inside the floor rather than above it.
I will DM you a photo. It's pretty wild, this place. I'm very excited to have like 60s themed parties in there. We even have like plans for like a vinyl room where you listen to records, and like you have the couch that you're talking about with like a concrete poured funky like Baja's table. I don't know. It's gonna be pretty fun. But yeah, Cap, I'm gonna send you some pics too. I want to hear more about the project that you're working on as well. Also, I have, for anybody who's a gamer, since Jonah's up here too, I'm obsessed with Silksong. That is like the follow up from Hollow Knight is a banger. I'm glad they finally gave it to us. If you know, you know. If you don't know and you like beautiful gaming, that's also absolutely hard AF. Highly recommend Silksong.
Also, for you kids out there that weren't around in the 90s, it's just like I have two quick thoughts, and then I promise we will get our guest of the hour on you. Oh shit, we lost Bando. We'll get him back. X is not on our side today. FFB says, huge misconception about flipping burgers. They don't flip burgers. They just press buttons to heat up the frozen patty. It was his first job.
Wait, really? That's fucking blow. Sorry, am I not allowed to curse on
maybe it's Five Guys that you need to. Do you guys have that chain?
Do.
They definitely flip burgers.
Oh yeah, Five Guys is the answer. It's where we all need to go.
Five Guys, it's so good. Like, I love how they treat us like pigs in a trough, and they just, here's your little peanuts. Have at it, little piggies.
The so trying to rewind my brain. I had a thought on not burger. Oh, interns. Pretty sure. Do you guys think that? I'm just gonna fire it off. That way I can tweet it. It's in my drafts on my phone, but I need to. I can't pull it up on the screen until I tweet it. Do you guys think that Polymarket and Kalshi realize that they hired the same intern? Do you think they are aware of this?
Wait, tell me more about this, because I have a direct line to Kalshi since I'm partnered with them. Tell me about this story. That's hilarious.
If it's not, I'll give you one very specific example, but and there's more. This is just one, but I don't know if it's just low effort and they're just, or it's a joke. They're just trolling each other. But this was last night. You're talking McDonald's. So last night at 8:22 p.m., just in, McDonald's sees record surge in job applicants as crypto market continues free fall. Again, from a prediction market. Who the hell cares?
Oh, this is normal. All social media news, breaking news, quote unquote sites do this. This is normal.
Yeah, but this isn't even like breaking news. This is just like shit posting.
Well, just in is the new breaking news, because saying breaking news is like very corny now. So the new breaking news is just in.
Yeah, within 2 hours of each other, basically the same tweet. McDonald's sees record surge in job applications. No one cares. Not even really that funny. Polymarket outkicked him with 1.8 million views, and then the intern Kalshi only 312. But yeah, I just saw that where I was like, I wonder they both hired an Anon intern, and it just so happened that they hired the same person.
No, it's way more machine than that. It's someone who clicks a button. What it is there's all sorts of software where you can see the news in real time.
Yeah.
Someone just tried calling me.
They need better news. Bandor, I see you made it back up on stage. Can we do a quick mic check? X has been a little finicky this morning. GM, can you hear us?
GM, can you hear us?
We got you. Yes. Thank you so much. Welcome. Before we get into the topic of the day, not sure if you caught the whole show, but I just want to see, did you have any comments, any questions on the exciting morning of all things Tesla, Fred again, or other side? Any hot takes or contradictions or just anything on that this morning's combo?
All right. On that topic, firstly, I'll let you guys know we are two right now here. It's me and Ace Cross, who's the founder of Bandor.
GM, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. It's not every day we get a duo on stage. So appreciate you being here.
Thank you. And on the other side topic, I wait and watch what happens, because I have a bunch of close friends who are huge holders of other deeds. Like the number 3 holder, the digital collection guy. He's like, I just met him last week, and they were extremely bullish. So I got a lot of alpha from them about what happened during Ape Fest, and also about the plan, that Adam Weissman has, and the overall ecosystem, the way it's cooking. I am personally very bullish, but it's just that I did watch, from background perspective, I'm originally Indian, but I'm French. I've lived in the last 10 years in France, now in Dubai, and my wife is French. So we know the French ecosystem quite well, and I know Sandbox quite well, closely, and I know how they stumbled and how much hype they had back in the day when they raised around $99 million, I think. Back then, they did a bunch of BD. I've met their team, I've talked to them, and I realized how much at an alpha stage they were. So other side seems to be much more advanced, which is much better. They didn't have a kind of community that backs other side. So overall, there's a lot of things going for other side when it comes to the metaverse battle. The real question is the timing of the things. Right now, it just seems like a bad timing for literally everybody in the whole crypto ecosystem. And I'm just afraid that the timing might dampen the launch. For example, the partnership with Amazon, if that would have happened in 2021, we would have seen a very different action on the floor.
I agree, but on that, just quickly on that, is that necessarily a bad thing? I think I'm not trying to spin it. I just think this might be a good thing that launching other side right now didn't result in some huge pump in floor prices of quotas and other deeds, and other deeds rip up from 0.1 to 1 ETH. And then this is such a long-term build that I would just be concerned that we get back in the same thing, that something gets pumped up and nothing happens next week that's revolutionary, and then there's a sell-off again. And just people I'm okay without it being crazy price action. And I think you could build an argument that this is maybe a positive, that they're launching it right now, where it's not, people aren't getting in there because of floor price pumps. They're not farming, but rather the users are real users, right?
Absolutely. I think this shows that the space is maturing for sure.
I think so. I'm excited to talk about this. I'm excited to talk about all that you got going on, what you're bringing, talk about timing to launch. And that'll be one question I'm going to ask you for sure. But before we do, the other thought I had that I slipped my brain real quick, for you kids out there, the easiest, if you went to a friend's house and you were not sure if the family was wealthy or not, the leading indicators of wealth in the 90s was the sunken living room with one of these bad boys in there. If you walked into a friend's house and they had this we used to call them big screen TVs, not an exaggeration, this thing weighed about 6,900 pounds and took a forklift to move, but it was the biggest flex at one point in your life. So if they had a sunken living room, one of these big screen TVs, and a waterbed, they may as well hit the lottery. I kid, but Bandor, we're going to get back on point here. Appreciate you bearing with my digression there. I had to get that out of my ADD wouldn't let me focus on the rest of the conversation. But let's. I flashed this up here. I agree with the take on other side. Tell us about Monty. What are y'all building, and why should all of our listeners care?
Yeah. So the idea here is that we are actually launching the Web3 ultra luxury brand called Bandor. And it's mainly 3 parts you can consider it to be. One of them is the animated web series of a superhero who's the ape that you see in the video. He's in a futuristic Paris and fighting crime, because we see where Paris is heading, so that's why. And that's one part. and he's also a jeweler in that series. And he'll be crafting different jewelry collectibles that would be worn by him in the series and by other characters. And the topics of those jewelry we would be regularly launching as collections. That is the main part of the business, you can say, which is luxury collectible jewelry for Web3. And so that's like, again, in all of this, as I said, my partner, my wife, she's the founder. She has been running a successful luxury jewelry brand in France for the last 6 years. So we already had that piece with us. So she had explained more on that side. And on the Monty piece, it is an NFT collection. That's the cultural arm of Bandor. So when we started talking with the Yuga Lab and ApeCoin back then, when we acquired the MBA license, so they were asking us, why are you not having an NFT collection? And back then we were focusing much more on the animated web series and this particular aspect, which is the jewelry part. They said, but in this, it's a part of the culture that you need to have. And back then I was quite involved in ApeCoin, and I still am. And in one of the ApeCoin projects called Jimmy, I was like a serious collector, so which was a rug. Let's not get into that. So me and my wife, we discussed and we thought, let's recreate the vibe we saw in the beginning of ApeCoin launch with NFTs, but with our style of art, with our style of trades, and something for the collectors. And that would be powered by the whole Bandor brand. So that is the idea. And then one of the Web3 friends that I have, which I really look up to and discuss a lot with, is Papi. I think you might know Papi, right? The leader of
Papi's. Oh yeah. Yeah, Papi was up here a little bit ago.
We discussed in deep about the vision, and he told me that he felt that it was. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I got you. I just let me stop screen sharing. I got an audio version. My dog started barking for some reason. But yeah, I got you.
Okay, no worries. So he heard the vision and he really liked it, and he told us about the issues about the collection. And I can't hear you.
Oh, you're good. I just had my mic down.
No worries. So that's where we decided that we will take longer to do the collection. We spent a good amount of time on actually building the collection, and we focused on just enjoying ourselves while doing it and enjoying the art. So that's what Monty is. And now, Deborah, Ace Cross can tell you more about the jewelry side of the things of Bandor and the vision here.
Awesome. Yes. Deborah, GM, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. And I do have to disclose my favorite moment in France. Steve and I were in Paris for NFT Paris in February, and it was late one night. We had dinner and we're walking back to our hotel, like two heterosexual male life partners, and we stopped at not a food truck. It was like a permanent fixture, but it was out late, and we're trying to get a dessert, and neither of us speak French. The gentleman there didn't speak English, and we're trying to communicate what we wanted. And he finally gets to this chocolate dessert that was the one we wanted. And I kid you not, Steve and I will sometimes finish our sentences on the show. The natural chemistry after 1,000 episodes together is hard to deny. And simultaneously, as the vendor picks up the chocolate dessert that we both wanted, both of us look at the guy, and at the exact same time, we both nod our heads and go, "See." That's my that's my greatest core memory for my last trip to Paris. But so if I start speaking in Spanish to you today, please don't take any offense. It's apparently my dyslexic non-bilingual brain. But GM, thanks so much for joining us, and looking forward.
You can speak in Spanish. I would understand. No worries.
Welcome. Tell us more about. I am curious too about anything you want to share. I'm not trying to pry or dox anything you're not comfortable sharing on the stage today. But I would love to hear a little more about your jewelry business and your anything you're comfortable sharing about your journey there, and ultimately why I guess both of you decided to bring that element into crypto and leverage these on-chain components.
Yes. So I've been running a French jewelry brand for 6 years, it's mainly focused on women. It's timeless pieces. And for Bandor, we wanted to do something very different that is much more unique. So here we're not talking at all about timeless, but rather something very exclusive, something strong in art. And that will be focusing on the male, for males, I mean. And the idea is that each collection will have only very few pieces that I've been working on, for a lot of time. It's instead of having a jewelry brand that has, I don't know how many pieces, this one is linked with storytelling. So every collection will be connected to the animated series of Bandor. So the idea is to bring pieces that have a story. Each of them will be connected to a specific moment in the series. They will have like a certain reference to the series, certain things that only someone who knows the BUIC story and codes will understand. It's more like for like the community that I'm building this brand, and it will not be something that is very common and very much seen. So I'm expecting it to be appreciated only by the community, because they will understand all the references that we'll put inside each piece.
Very cool. So I become more and more, to me, the idea of having these like a digital counterpart to a physical good, whether it's a physical collectible, whether it's an automobile, whether it's luxury jewelry, I think we talk so often about why bring something on chain, and when in this case, it makes a better product. It's especially if you got smaller supply, custom stuff, like to be able to prove and authenticate that it's real, where it came from, and kind of unlock additional potential, additional activations, future stuff. Like this is, you talk about eligibility for lore-based airdrops and secret activations, and the voting power with the animated series. All that sounds good, but I get really excited with this physical digital connection. And anything, can you speak to that anymore? Like, is there anything you're able to share, like, or even like what kind of jewelry we might be looking? Are we talking necklaces and chains or rings? Or again, I'm not trying to get you to leak too much alpha, but help us understand like what may be looking forward to in terms of the actual jewelry itself, and then what on-chain components are you tapping into?
Yes. So when I'm saying it's exclusive, it's really exclusive. So for example, for the first collection, we are planning to only do 20 pieces. So obviously, since it's so exclusive, we want to make sure that everybody can know if they have a real piece or not, because in jewelry there's lots of counterfeit, so it's absolutely necessary to identify each piece. So of course every jewelry will be linked with their own NFT. And as for which pieces we are going to release first, there will be like a ring, a necklace, which is like a military tag, a cuff, and a cufflink.
Okay.
And it's a luxury brand, so it would be like in platinum, in 18 karat gold, natural precious stones. I don't want to share too much, but I mean, it's going to be very nice.
Very cool. You said cufflink, and I have several cufflinks. I don't wear dress clothes much anymore, but I love cufflinks. I used to collect cufflinks. I don't know if we've seen have we had any other like actual cufflinks? Anyone in I mean, if they have, it missed me. Like I just kind of support. Like I've seen rings. I've seen some charms. Machiavelli talking about the Gucci pendant. Have we had anyone introduce like a cufflink that's somehow connected on chain, or that's tied in with the RWA approach, or are you aware of any, or is this maybe a first?
I don't think there is, but I don't know everything that is out there. But
I mean, we don't know if that's the first one, but I can share like very small funny story about the cufflink that well, during the process of like when we were testing out the pieces among the big let's say BAYC known people. So a close friend of mine, Rida, from
Oh, yeah.
Leeds. So I was sitting in his office and just we were discussing, and he told me show what you're building right now, what products you have. So he absolutely loved the cufflinks. He used the word that was like pure flex in his opinion. It's more for collector perspective because you can't be using the cufflinks every day. So the cufflink in the first collection actually uh, has again, that's one of the heavier pieces in terms of material being used, because all the pieces are built with platinum or white gold, and for the first collection it's going to be black diamonds.
Oh, wow.
So that particular combination for the cufflink, and the symbol of the brand is actually a very stylized R. So Rida absolutely loves the fact that his name is also with R. So that's why he really loved the cufflink. We were not expecting to see this kind of I saw multiple people talking about the cufflink. At the end we'll see who wants to acquire them, because initially we did it mainly from brand perspective, because they look very nice, and we know that that's not what a lot of people use in the daily use. It's much more the thing, the military dog tag, those kind of things. So you will see, for example, uh, the trailer, or no, the teaser that's out, that you were seeing right now on the screen. You can see you're wearing a military dog tag. That would be one of the pieces in the first collection, and also the ring. Those two, and cuff as well. I think you can see the cuff as well in that ring. You can't see the cuff link, but all the other three products you can see. So that part would be there. And I'm very personally very excited about the project. Deborah, of course, is very excited because she learned massively. Ace Cross, she's telling me that's the name she wants to go with, because she has other ideas later on for the brand. So overall, the vision here is for Bandor to turn into a very big web series with multiple apes and multiple superheroes powering different brands. And Monty is the beginning. Think of it as Monty is the brand equity of Bandor. That
Okay.
is, we plan to be the biggest collectors of this particular collection, and we this would always have high amount of value inside the brand.
So can we pause on that? I want to pull on that string a little bit. When I first saw, I was like, 7,400 supply, 7,423 might be a little high in this market, even for the lower price point. I mean, 29 ape is, if you're here, that very affordable. If you do your own research, don't spend any money you can't afford to lose, but a very palatable minting price point. But if my math is right, only half of those are going to be minted. The other half you're holding back in the treasury for clients, treasury, long-term rewards.
Mm-hmm.
I like this approach. There's pros and cons. I think in today's world, where I don't think collections should be coming out with 10, 20,000 plus supply. It's just there's not enough active users here. But I still remain long-term bullish on crypto, NFTs, other side, etc. And I think there is a world where we have another, maybe not the masses is the right way to put it. We have another wave of onboarding. And I think having NFTs in your treasury, I think we may see more brands that are minting NFTs as a fundraising vehicle go this route in the future. Punks did this. Matt and John held back 1,000 punks. As a free mint, they held 1,000 punks. That worked out all right. Can you expand on that? Any thought, like what led to the decision of essentially holding back half the supply in your treasury?
I've heard this from a lot of people. What you're saying, that firstly, I think forgot the name of the founder of Believer, the guy who wanted to do the ape mobile. I forgot his name.
Oh geez.
Yeah, but
cause and I can't remember the other guy. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
In the beginning, that the collection size is high. I talked to Rida. He also told me the same thing, and my vision is slightly different. It's like I've seen a lot of collections mint for the main purpose of minting out, and after that they will see how the community takes it, and from there, if it goes good, it's fine. Otherwise, it's dead. Like most of the collections on ApeChain. and then they do it again, and they keep on doing rinse and repeat. So because, well, that is, I'm nothing against it. That is their bread and butter. For us, this is not really the idea. It is, the brand is being created for collectors, which are also collectibles. I expect people to love the art and want to collect it. So if I have only 1,000 in the collection, then how would people able to collect 10, 20, 25, right? From that perspective. So that's also one of the reasons why I wanted a bigger collection, and also have my favorite collection is BAYC. So that's also the kind of vibe I wanted to achieve. And this is the reason why we planned it in this manner. We will keep 50%, that would be part of treasury, but we'll be actively minting and buying as well.
I love it.
So we are going to be active collectors. And if you look at Monty on Ape account, you won't see that many followers, because we've not gone into that style of, like, FOMO marketing, or like any kind of creating a hype. Because my understanding is, if there is a hype, like I've seen in a lot of projects, after mint it pumps a bit and then it drops like crazy. And I don't want my collections mint, or like floor price, to go much below mint price or anywhere close to mint price. And that is only possible if only serious collectors are the ones minting. So this is one of the reasons I've, also not done, we've not done much on the hype creation side, and we would want to keep as much as possible, and there's space for anybody else who wants to collect more.
Very cool. I have maybe an odd question. You mentioned the stylized R. Where does that, what's the meaning behind that? Where does the R come from?
So maybe, yeah. So all right. So the reality there is that we went through different logos, because it starts with B, but when the main Bandor logo, if you see when BANDOR is written, our graphic designer, when he made the R, like when we were working with that side, we saw a lot of letters, and we specifically liked this R, but there were others as well that we liked. And then there is a backstory behind it that would be revealed later on, which actually connects why we chose R and not B.
Okay.
Because as I said, the vision is bigger with multiple apes. So R would be present in the name of multiple apes that actually would be a part of this Bandor verse. So that is where we are using R. And there's another reason that will come out later on that I don't want to spoil right now.
Very cool. Very cool. I like it. I haven't, you can see here, this maybe better visual with the R, the last letter of Bandor. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to go most common. You see the first letter of a name that's tied into the icon or the logo. I like going the other route here. I've got the schedule pulled up. We've got whitelist is live now. You go to bandor.xyz, pinned up top, follow the correct links to register for that whitelist. Mint date coming up 20th November, and then a trailer, then the jewelry collection pre-order, and then the official launch. My assumption is that while perks of the NFT include early access, exclusive offers, priority whitelist to physical digital collectibles, Discord and real life events, and voting power on the store decision, and collector perks, plus eligibility for lore-based airdrops and secret activations. My assumption is that the physical jewelry mints, and even when you said it's smaller size, like 20, I'm guessing those will be paid purchases. They'll be for sale, and collectors will have the opportunity to purchase first, or maybe it's discounted. Yeah. How will the holding the NFT come to play when it comes to the actual jewelry and purchasing the jewelry?
Yes. So they will have the opportunity to be the first ones to buy. And in the beginning, there would be a discount as well. But overall, long term, I believe that most of the Bandor clients, if not all of them, they will be Monty holders and Monty collectors. So the vision here is to create a very strong network of collectors of the physical jewelry, and then also via that, for Monty, because every product that people buy, they will get a Monty. For example, these things are not putting it out there, but the first 6 buyers of the our Bandor jewelry products will actually get a 1 by 1 Monty. There's only one in this collection. They will be in the beginning in the treasury, and they will be given out to the first 6 buyers.
Oh wow.
But we're not putting it out, we're not putting it anywhere because we don't want it to become sort of a way to get this. It's rather like only the people who are interested in it. I know I think 3 spots are already filled for that, but let's see. So that is one thing, and then the other, there's a lot of other things that I could tell you, but the real value for Monty is that Bandor as a brand loves Monty. So we will keep on not just maintaining and increasing our treasury of Monty. Overall, the company profits would be regularly doing buybacks of Monty. So the real value of Monty will come from Bandor brand and from collectors of Bandor jewelry. So that is how the real value is coming. Yes, there would be discounts. They would be the first ones to be able to purchase. All of those things would be there. If whenever we start another digital native brand, that would be a part in it. But at the end, this is the community. This is the brand equity of this whole brand.
Very cool. Let me ask you this: do you envision? Will there be any sort of tie-in from the jewelry business? Like, do you envision bringing those clientele or those customers into Monty or on chain in some regard, or is this going to be kind of like your crypto Web3 division, and then you'll still have your regular jewelry business? Do you see this as potentially an onboarder in any way, shape, or form?
So the French luxury jewelry brand that Ace Cross is running, that has a very different clientele.
Okay.
That has that's not Web3. That's very traditional French clientele, European clientele of a different age group, and that's a very different business. And I've discussed that with her quite often. She does think that this could potentially give an opportunity to Web3 folks to discover that brand. Although my view is that it's not the other jewelry brand that would onboard folks to Web3. I think it's the animated web series, because that gives us content to actually put out on Instagram, to put out on TikTok or YouTube or different places. So if the web series somehow takes off, right? So that's where we will be investing, because then that creates a curiosity of who is this monkey, right? Who is this ape going around, running around, doing stuff in this animated series? And that is where the whole idea that, it's part of that collection, bored apes, people who paid millions to buy those monkey JPEGs. So from there, onboarding them towards the NFT. Folks who get very interested by that. So
and also on our website, so prices will be in dollars, but we also display for each product, let's say this amount in dollars or this amount in ApeCoin. So people who don't know ApeCoin, coming on the website, they will also get introduced to this coin as well.
And there'll be a discount for buying an ApeCoin. So actually, people will be incentivized to buy on ApeCoins. So for onboarding part, the whole onboarding funnel for us is much more on the animated series side.
Very cool. Tell us about that. Is it going to be, you say animated series, so I assume like YouTube and other streaming platforms? Is there any, when, and did I miss when that, I'll go back to the schedule here, the roadmap. When is, I guess, episode 1, when might we expect that?
I believe we can expect the trailer probably by mid-December for the first episode. But for the full episode, it will take I think what? Okay. January. Ace Cross is saying January. I would believe it would be more February and March, because we're working regularly with the studio. So I would say in the first Q1 2026, we will expect the whole episode launch.
Okay.
But the trailer will launch before Christmas for sure.
Very cool. Very cool. What really appreciate, it's been great to connect this morning. Appreciate all your time. Is there anything we haven't asked you? Anything you wanted to share about Bandor or Monty? Anything you that we haven't touched on yet you're hoping to communicate to everyone?
I think we've touched on a bunch of stuff. Like one of the things that maybe we didn't talk about is sometimes people do ask me when jewelry is nice, but what's the Web3 part in it? So that's a part where I can maybe drill down a bit more into. That is, every jewelry piece will have a reference to the BAYC collection.
Okay.
For example, the Bandor, if you take the dog tag, the military dog tag of Bandor, it has two slabs, both in gold. The one behind actually has the transaction hash, the minting transaction hash of that particular ape on the jewelry. So every particular piece will have some homage towards like in the first collection, it's about the BAYC mint. So some pieces will have a number about what was the gas fees when this was being minted. Or so basically spreading the culture is an extremely important part for this particular brand and for this particular jewelry. So we've spent good amount of time in designing and crafting the jewelry, also the storyline, the animation, and recently much more on the Monty collection, which we like a lot. So that's the piece. And the other thing is, in terms of Monty, I would say that like the traits are going to be quite novel and quite interesting. We have like some, because it's on Ape Chain, we need to have some inspiration from BAYC. So we did take some BAYC inspired traits like G's did. So that was in line with that. But most of the traits actually in this collection are going to be new.
Very cool.
So
Go ahead.
yeah.
Sorry.
You're saying something?
Oh, yeah, you didn't. I mean, I could assume, or I could make my assumption as to why, but why Ape Chain? I know obviously you've been deep in the Bored Ape Yacht Club community. What was there? Is that it? Is simply, hey, this is my home. This is where I'm going to build. Was there anything else that attracted you to
it? Is exactly that, because we have all the reasons to not do it on Ape Chain.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you think we'll see Monty's in the other side? Are you planning on getting the avatars in other side? No pressure on timeline, just curious.
And I know the community has asked me, and I always told them that we'll see. It is a possibility because I am close to the Yuga folks. I know I'm also very close to Rida, so that's always on the cards. Right now, it was not on the vision. The whole idea is like, I don't want people to mint thinking they are minting an other side avatar. If it happens in the future, it can, because well, I am a very big Yuga supporter. I'm a very big ApeCoin and ape supporter. I have multiple apes. And the reason we are minting it on Ape Chain is the fact that, well, in Web3, this is our home. So although we know how ApeCoin has been performing, and we've seen other founders also have stress about that, we've seen how Good Vibes clubs minted out with the kind of like, reception they got versus pretty good big collections on Ape Chain not actually getting there. But again, that's not the purpose here for us. For us, it's not about extracting. It is about building a community, and building a community for this brand can only happen on Ape Chain. It cannot happen on any other chain. I'm not expecting pudgy penguins to get interested in Bandor, for example, at least from the Web3 perspective. I'm not pushing out their IP, right? I'm pushing out BAYC IP. So it has to be on Ape Chain.
Okay, great. I love it. I guess kind of like tying that into my earlier bullish take on other side, and going from the hundreds of daily active users a day into the thousands, the millions, etc. It's like you're one of, we'll say, 10,000 plus community members, member of the club that. Not all, but I do think a lot of them, when they choose to do an activation on chain, there's many reasons to think that they're probably going to build on Ape Chain. And whether that ends up resulting in an other side avatar or not, there's something here that I still don't think the space is giving Yuga and the Bored Ape Yacht Club enough credit for, is the stickiness of this community. They talk about a club of builders, the MBA program, and things ebb and flow, but the reality is there's a lot of builders that remain in the club, and many of them, when they choose to, whether it's a NFT mint or an RWA or any sort of on-chain tie-in, I think we're just seeing more and more of those individuals choose to make Ape Chain their home as well. And I think that while you said, this isn't marketed towards pudgy penguins, or you're not expecting a bunch of pudgy penguins to come in and support this. I do think that I can see a future where other side becomes like a ape chain becomes a hub for crypto natives in terms of its performance, it's fast. There is you have this community groundswell if there's something that resonates with those individuals there. And I could see it both not only attracting other users, other mentors from other ecosystems, but I don't like outside of like an L2 that's currently in a farm. I think there's something here. There's something that is measurable, that is the Bored Ape Yacht Club community, that I don't think it's talked that much about outside of the ape ecosystem. And I think what we're seeing you do, what you're choosing to do here with Bandor and your real life jewelry business and Monty's and building on Ape Chain, I think this is a glimpse into what we might see more and more builders both in the club and outside the club do as things move forward, especially as Ape Chain continues to drive the activity, the wallets. And that's the other thing too. You think about, yes, it's club driven today. What if Ape Chain is actually able to convert, ApeCo is able to convert the millions of wallets they've added into ongoing users and active participants? It may not be all, but I think it's, it doesn't take not too hard to connect some dots to see where, okay, they just picked up thousands of new users, new wallets at ComplexCon. I don't know. Some of those people might be into to fine jewelry, right?
Yeah, I completely agree with you on this part. That overall, firstly, Yuga doesn't get enough credit for what they've done. I've now collaborated with them, on multiple topics, and I can tell you that, be it PP Man or Fige or Simple Farmer, joined Ape Chain recently, or Tina, everybody is actually quite collaborative. They support the ecosystem. They do their best. And overall, the vision of Yuga is to really push forward the whole Web3 ecosystem together. So that is completely true. And I do believe that if anybody can make or crack the metaverse, it's going to be Yuga. And I'm very bullish on that particular aspect. We actually are actively thinking of, of setting a whole Bandor boutique and clubhouse inside other side right now. We are discussing about that. I'm very bullish on this for sure. And as you said, other Web3 communities also coming on the other side. That can happen, and I'm hoping that will happen. But it will happen once a lot of other L2s get crushed. Because the problem has been that people have seen ApeCoin as a way to extract, and everybody has launched their own L2s after that. We've had a meta of L2s being launched like meme coins in the last 1 year or so. So till people get or move on from that, till then I don't think we'll see that kind of traction. But yes, at the end, people will all agree that this is the home of Web3. I'm very bullish on that. I'm completely sold on the vision you're sharing right now.
Awesome. Yeah, again, we both probably sound biased, but the more and more I see it, the more and more I see the organic groundswells, where I keep coming back to, that's happening on the other side. I think it is possible, if not likely, that other side does become the home for Web3. Blockchains are going to continue to get launched. There's going to be new blockchains, going to be new L2s, new L3s, new L1s, and they'll have their niches. I think they become more specific use cases going forward than they've been thus far. When you talk about Web3 homes, I think today people say, oh, well, NFT's main home is Ethereum. The meme coin Trench's main home is Solana. Even those are, or maybe you say, oh, ETH is the home of smart contracts. It's just, the reality is there's a lot of places that those homes can be. Some blockchains have portals. I think what they're building with Ape Chain and other side, it's setting up to be a real cultural home for on-chain builders, and excited. It's exciting we've got to this point, and it doesn't just happen. And I think the thing that excites me most is it doesn't just happen with Yuga. It takes builders like yourself that are continuing to build on top or build in the sandbox that is Ape Chain. So really appreciate both of you joining us this morning. is there anything we've got a link pinned up top for the your from the Bandor account that it tags both Bandor and the Monty on Ape account. Go give that a follow. Click through to the website. You can get registered for the whitelist. Other than getting registered for that whitelist, any other action people should be taking? Anything else you want them to be keeping an eye out for, or any closing thoughts in general?
No, I think that's all good. Like, just do those actions and enjoy the ride for sure.
Enjoy the ride, indeed. Well, again, appreciate you joining us today.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks for not even though I say yes in Spanish in the streets of Paris. I appreciate you both being here, and excited to next time I'm in Paris. Maybe I'll hit both of you up, and you can take me around, and I can see more cultured and not the American gringo that's uncultured and not able to even speak even in the most basics of words. But in all seriousness, really appreciate you being here. Thanks for sharing with us. Best of luck on this mint. We'll be following along, supporting. And the one thing I wanted to call attention to again, that I just kind of a hat tip, and I think it's a wise move, is the treasury, the holdback. Like you could have minted 3,400 of these things and went on, and it's fine. I think minting 3,400 and holding some back in the treasury. Also, the one thing you mentioned, like even like for your early supporters, your jewelry buyers, like going to have some of those rare ones, some of those grails that you'll gift to those individuals beyond just general marketing and whatnot. I like this approach, and I think in today's NFT minting environment, I think there's two paths. One, you could reduce your supply, you could go smaller collection size, or you could do that and hold some back in your treasury. And I think as long as you're upfront with it, as long as you're transparent with your plans, your intentions, I think maybe there was a period in time during the peak of the NFT mania that this type of approach got some pushback, but I don't think it should, especially not in today's age. And again, if the grail of PFP NFTs, the punks, they went this model, it works. And so, yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge that in closing, that I appreciate you taking a new but proven approach to this, the mint, and some may overlook mint mechanics and supply held back. I think it's a good thing. I think we might start seeing more and more during the current NFT environment. That said, thanks again for joining us. I really appreciate it. We'll be following along, supporting. Best of luck with the mint, the animated series, and the first jewelry drop. And as we got a few minutes here left, one other quote I'll share with everyone in passing. I'll pull it up here on the screen. I did pin it up top. Just thought it's a good one. Is we didn't really talk markets this morning. Daily market update. Actually, I'll share two things. One, haven't read this full article, but it did get shared in the chat. Apologies, my X is getting a little finicky. And shout out to everyone who powered through this morning, getting rugged left and right on X. So appreciate y'all. This someone dropped. This is from the New York Times this morning. The crypto industry's $28 billion in dirty money. As President Trump has championed crypto and the industry is going mainstream, funds from scammers and other criminal groups have flowed onto major crypto exchanges. I've not read the article, just not the best type of headlines you want to see when we talk about the tailwinds that exist in the industry. While I do still believe we have significant tailwinds, I also think there's some headwinds. And this is probably maybe the one of the biggest, if not the biggest headwind. It is what it is. I'm going to read the whole article. Maybe we hit on it again tomorrow, but I wanted to share that. Someone shared in the chat. And then the other pinned up top, this quote or this post from OSF. I'll just read it. It's kind of long. I'll kick in my Micro Machine Man and I'll get this out in the next 60 seconds. We'll let you all out of here with your rest of your day. But he says, on my first day on the desk of senior trading, and now a friend of mine told me, on my first day on the desk, a senior trader and now friend of mine told me, quote, you have to figure out what type of trader you are. Everyone is different, unquote. I still remember it quite clearly and think that this statement applies rather generally, and people forget about that on CT. For example, many people have a successful strategy of longing breakouts or shorting breakdowns. Many people make money just by accumulating and holding over a long period of time. People make money by identifying new narratives and being early, although taking a lot of risk. The answer is there is multiple ways to make money, each with a varying degree of success, and each requires a different skill set. And And the thing you got to do is figure out what your style is and also what you want your time horizon to be. Think about CT is you read a lot, and the general morale can often have a big impact on your trading decisions. But you also need to make sure that you're comparing apple to apples. For example, if the only people you follow are short-term chart traders, but you actually have a long-term horizon, your trading decisions will be impacted with what they are saying at the moment, bearish, and you may end up selling only to later regret it and buying back higher. Conversely, you may have a specific need to pull your capital out in a short term like tax liability, but because you only follow long-term permables, you never sell, take profits, and ride your bags down and end up selling at lows because you have no other choice. If you're someone who bases your trading decision off what you read on CT, and even if you don't, what we read on here impacts every single one of us, whether we like it or not. You need to be extremely careful about interpreting the information first before you let it affect your mentality. It's hard to do because most of the time we're just sitting around browsing CT and taking it for face value as it comes. But the worst thing you do is take advice from someone who's trading short term based on charts and let it F up your multiple years of building because your mindset is more long term. If you follow me for a while, you know that I really don't look at charts. I'm never really short term minded unless there's a specific fundamental catalyst I see coming up within a time frame and I can incorporate into my thinking. As mentioned yesterday, I'm still bullish, but I also am a very patient person. The way I see it is I'd rather make 10x over a longer period of time, even if I have to take massive unrealized drawdowns, than make X today and another 2 or 3x because I waited for confirmation before buying back in. Not saying this is a correct way, but this is my style, and it's been very successful for me personally. I think it's a great take, and I think too often, whether you want to admit it or not, I think a lot of us are influenced by what we see on crypto Twitter from people that you may respect and deserve the respect, but everyone's different. Everyone is not just different styles of trader. Everyone has different goals. Everyone has different timelines. It's important to understand that someone day trading charts and they're a perp trader, and you're someone who's just DCAing or buying spot and holding long, you shouldn't let the perp traders impact your decisions because you're not playing the same game. It's in the same arena, but it's completely different games. And while right now, I'm looking at fear and greed. I saw a couple floating around at 10, maybe it touched 10. I'm seeing 17 on my page. I've seen some screenshots of fear and greed at 10. Sentiment's in the tank, like real bad. 17 is maybe high. Well, is that because so many people got liquidated on the 10th of October? So many people are not sure what the next month holds. I think there's a lot of fear in the market. Truly FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Just the unknown. I think a lot of those same people, if you ask them, where do you see Bitcoin or ETH, or where do you see crypto in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Even the barest of bears, most of them are still bullish long-term. So don't let a short-term market impact your long-term strategies because of seemingly everyone on crypto Twitter says, oh, you're an idiot if you didn't sell the top. Well, if you're day trading perps and you didn't sell, yeah, you're not feeling great about yourself. You also can have different buckets. It's just sometimes I'm guilty of this. Sometimes I have my long spot buckets I don't touch. I have my perp buckets. And then sometimes I will let the short, because I do dabble in both, I will let the short-term mentality, the short-term fear sometimes impact now, fortunately, like I didn't capitulate on ETH at the bottom. I did, I've talked about making some moves, but I don't, because I'm consciously fighting this internal struggle in terms of short-term trading, long-term investing. They're not the same thing. And it's easier said than done to bifurcate those two trading buckets or investing buckets. And I just, good sage advice from OSF this morning. Maybe not as sage as may I meet you, but still sage advice nonetheless. And on that note, not joking, not a bit, I am going to start using may I meet you in public, not because need help picking up a woman. Rather, I think it might be unless it does break out of our bubble, I think if you ask someone, may I meet you, the response you get the reaction you get should instantly, within seconds, tell you if that individual is on crypto, or at least on Twitter or not. Not necessarily crypto Twitter, but if they are if they're addicted to X, I think you will find out very quickly simply by asking, "May I meet you?" If they
Cap, I did it yesterday, and when I said, "May I meet you?" they were throwing themselves at me, brother. Like, be careful where you walk around and say that.
Proof is, I mean, there it is. Machiavelli's tested the theory; it works. May I meet you? Maybe that we've Steve. When Steve gets back, he's gonna not realize the amount of new segments we have here on Coffee with Captain. We might have. I know Joey couldn't make it up on stage this morning, but man. And Joey's also a married man, so maybe this might not be appropriate, but maybe it's Machiavelli on the streets, and we just we do the "May I meet you?" In all seriousness, I'll wrap with this. If you missed it, Choose Rich Nick hit it once again. Another viral post with millions of views because he has. I don't want to say no shame. There's got to be a better way to describe him. He just does the thing.
He's not afraid.
No fear, leans into it. It's not just that you lean into it. It's like next time I see him, I'm going to ask, like, is there like, okay, today I have to have a post. I got to find something to post about. I got to find something to make a video about, or is it completely impromptu? Because I'm going to go check the tape. His video that he did, quote tweeting, what's his name? Bill Ackman's. It's not just one. There's multiples now I'm seeing. I missed the others, but I'm gonna pull this up. This was so Bill sends it out. I guess within 24 hours, unless my math's wrong. Bill sends out this quote. If you haven't seen it yet, you weren't on Twitter this weekend. Anyways, Ackman sends out this dating advice, basically saying that the icebreaker is just ask people, "May I meet you?" A lot of people dunked on, and then Nick sends out this video.
Approach women and just suggested that I say, "May I
start over." Here we go. We'll play it, and then I promise we'll get you out of here.
Hi, excuse me. May I meet you? May I meet you? Bill Ackman suggested that we have a crisis of men unwilling to approach women and just suggested that I say, "May I meet you?" Okay, we'll meet later. Bill Ackman really fell through with that advice. Crazy.
3.3 million views on that.
Hi, excuse me. Man,
just the guy is, and then, like I said, I thought it might have been the only one. It wasn't. Here's another one that does merely 1 million views. Then he invites Bill on the podcast. The wildest thing is he probably is going to land him. Like, he'll probably get a billionaire on their podcast because of his, some might call them cringe videos, but he leans into the bit as good, if not better, than anyone I've seen on this app. May not be your style. You got to respect it. It is like, I think Kobe is the GOAT KOL, the GOAT crypto Twitter KOL. If you want to talk about someone who's escaped crypto Twitter, I don't know if there's anyone that's done it on this level.
He's tapped in, Cap. Like the way that because he reviews a lot of content and stuff like that. Like he's finding those little things in the market and in the media that could transcend just this little niche of ours and kind of captivate the mind, especially of the trolls and everybody else out there. You know what I mean? Because of the way that he actually performs. So I think that he's really found his spot and like he's able to like capitalize on these moments and kind of grab that attention and pull it right near him.
Yeah, he's doing, and this isn't a shot. I mean, TG's had his own success in his own right, but he's doing what I think Thread Guy wanted to or is attempting to do in terms of break out of crypto Twitter and go. Thread Guy was attempting to do it with like interviews that are kind of crossover or not just crypto folks. Nick's doing it with silly videos and memes, and it's one of my favorite things now that I like. I won't. The style is just like, I couldn't do that. I have no trouble talking to strangers. I have no trouble, like, it's just, I'm outgoing. I enjoy meeting new people. I couldn't do that. I would be, and I don't rarely get embarrassed. Other people might, if I'm with someone and they do something stupid, like I might get embarrassed for them, or they might embarrass me, but I don't really embarrass myself. I can own something. If I screw up, so be it. That would be hard for me. Like to go and do that, record. Like I don't know what it is. I don't have stage fright. I'm in my, I get on a stage in front of 1,000 people. I'm in a flow state like that. Like I embrace that sort of environment. But doing what he does and Clemente, like it is way outside of my comfort zone. And yeah, much respect. So if you missed it, go read the Bill Ackman article. I was trying to land this plane here with some sage advice on that level, but I got nothing other than appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate board closet. This will be my, now I got to find it. This will be my my GM post tomorrow is a board closet. They memed my ape with the "May I Meet You" sign. Can't see it right now in the notifications, but I will. I'll share it tomorrow morning for sure. That'll be the GM post, and then we'll be back tomorrow. Carousel's broken. X made some changes. I thought we were just going to be able to boost it. I did publish it yesterday. It's just not only to get not like last week it got nerfed. Now they just don't show it on the timeline. So I'm going to dive in and see if there's a way to get that actually live. But in the time being, just look for, we're here every morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time. Like clockwork, look for, if I can't get the carousel working, I'll just I'll start sending out the links at night or morning again. But on that, appreciate y'all. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow at 8. Bandor and the Bandor team, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck with everything. We'll be following along, supporting, and good time. While the markets may disagree, I think it's a great time to be here. I think it's a great time to be building, and this is, I think you just like I said earlier about like markets being, there was reference of like the other side and the Nexus going live and price action following. While it didn't explode, you didn't see massive floor sweeps between Nexus going live and Ape Fest. I'm not trying to PvP this, not. Apes are almost a full ETH over penguins. That wasn't the case a month ago. Like I do think there is some positive momentum in a market that's pretty much, I mean, NFTs have been getting crushed. We have been seeing positive momentum in the Bored Ape Yacht Club collection. And I do think it is a culmination of Ape Fest, other side going live. We've seen a lot of OGs that have come back and picked up an ape again or got back in. Not trying to just be bag biased, not trying to, I'm not saying go out and buy a mutant or buy an ape. Mutants are 0.92 ETH. Like, if the club is something you've always wanted to get in, could it go lower from here? Yeah, it could. It could also keep going up, and then you find yourself, like, go back to OSF's post. If you're a long-term builder, investor, if you've got a long-term perspective and you're not looking for something, I got to flip, because someone asked the war room, are mutants a buy here sub ETH? I'm not looking to buy NFTs right now because I don't know where the bottom's at. But if I was flipping, or more so, if I didn't have an ape, if I didn't have a mutant and I wanted to join the club, I saw and I see the value in it, not selling. If someone else, like, I think you'd be hard pressed to find, I've got to do the math. I think you'd be hard pressed to find a club in the utility, in the perks that come with membership to the Bored Ape Yacht Club for less than $2,800. It's 0.92 ETH is 2881. You're under 3K. You can get in the club today. And I think that is an opportunity for a builder, an opportunity for someone that wants community, wants to actually utilize what that NFT can unlock for them. I think you'd be hard pressed not to see a return on your investment if you're actually going to be active. Now, if you're just looking to buy it and then sell it someday, maybe the price goes up, maybe the price goes down. I don't know. What I do know is the real community that exists, the real groundswell we're seeing in other side, and the perks and utility beyond just an annual Ape Fest. I mean, I think you could justify, if you have a long-term perspective and you like going to crypto events, you're going to get your money's worth over, let's say, 10 Ape Fest. And then over the next decade, you're going to get that $2,800 just by the value you get out of Ape Fest. I feel confident saying that. Not even talking about Clubhouse and everything else. But anyways, I'll end that rant. Enough bull posting my bags this morning. But appreciate y'all being here. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern. Thanks again for powering through the X challenge today. I don't know what it is. I think the X app updates are out there, but maybe if you had some trouble getting on, or if your audio was cutting it out, or you couldn't get up on stage today, maybe make sure you're on the most recent version of X. I know there's been a lot of new updates with the changes in the chat app, or the chat portion of X. They kind of merged the beta chat and the DMs. Yeah, maybe see if you make sure you're on the most recent. Check back in tomorrow. And as my buddy Steve would say, we hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.